Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here. Thank you guys for joining me. Always appreciate it when you guys take the time out of your day or your evening to sit in and watch a video with me. So much gratitude to you guys for tuning in and checking the video out. I've got something I want to share with you guys today. You guys know I'm a bit of a numbers nerd. I like to dig. I like to do a little bit of investigative work. And I know that for as much corruption, wasteful spending that's happening right now, that Elon and the whiz kids are finding, that there's corruption everywhere. It's not like you're going to find a department that is without corruption. And we've seen the way the ATF operates, so we know they're not guided by any kind of a moral system. So I know there's corruption there. Or at least I know there's wasteful spending. Let's just be polite about it if we have to. So what I did was I took the more recent ATF budget and I broke it down and really went and looked at it. Now, I've taken the ATF budget for the last several years and broken it apart and looked at it. So I kind of know what to look for. I know when there's changes or things like that because it usually stands out. Because in a lot of cases, some of the things that they're asking for, believe it or not, don't get approved. So they reappear every single year until they get approval for those items. So some of it you begin to recognize after a few years looking at pretty much the same wording because they copy and paste it. It's not like they recreate it. So I'm going to take you through something that has stood out to me and show you something that I have discovered where we have an overlap. And that I think I can save our boy Elon and the whiz kids at DOGE some money. So I went to their current budget and you can see the 2024 budget was just a continuation of the 2023 budget. And for 2025, that's about a 15 to 16% increase over the previous year that they've got there. So they're asking for a pretty sizable amount of money. Now we're talking about billions of dollars right here, right? $1.9 billion. They're really slick how they take off all the zeros to not freak you out. But if you see up at the top in parentheses, it says dollars or in millions. That's $1.9 million, not 1,952 bucks. Now you guys know I'm ADHD, so I'm going to go a real quick tangent on the side here. I found it a little bit interesting, and this is all for another video later, where I have highlighted here, these measures were essential to combating a surge in FFL burglaries and robberies during periods of civil unrest and during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. So what they're talking about is they're saying that they had a spike in burglaries and robberies with guns during COVID around the 2020 time frame. So they're telling you the reason why there was a spike was it was because all the stuff that was happening during COVID. But check this out. The very next sentence, it says in part, as a result of the ATF's focus measures, burglary incidents in 2021 decreased 44% and robbery decreased 5%, all from 2020. So in the sentence just prior to that, they're blaming COVID for those numbers going up because remember, as the ATF, they can only pat themselves on the back when a number improves. So they use 2020 as their crutch as, hey, it wasn't our fault in 2020 that everything spiked. You know, COVID and all wasn't our problem. The next sentence, they don't say because COVID went away that the numbers went down. They say, as a result of the ATF's focused measures, then that's why the numbers went down. These clowns can't even hide what they're doing by manipulating the numbers. They do it right in front of your face. At least separate it with a couple of sentences or paragraphs, but they do it one sentence behind the other, dodging the blame and then taking credit. But the main thing that I want to focus on, because I've noticed this for a couple of years now, is the body-worn cameras. In 2024, they were actually asking for $35 million in body-worn cameras. And in 2025, they wanted $37.8 million. They jumped that number by almost $3 million. Now, we all probably wonder, they already have a ton of money. And we know they have plate carriers that actually will house a body-worn camera. We know they don't activate the body-worn cameras or they don't share the video with us because whenever they put lead in Brian Malinowski in his living room, for simply selling some Glocks that they weren't happy with whenever they ended him in his own house. They put that tape over the Ring doorbell camera and they claim they didn't have body-worn cameras. Well, they ask for it every year in their budget, so that's why I kind of gravitate towards this, because I have so many questions about Malinowski that still have not been answered, but the body-worn camera thing is very interesting to me and important to me. So that's why I kind of focused on this one. They go on to state that this initiative supports digital cloud storage of body-worn camera video for ATF, whose parent agency mandates the use of BWCs during enforcement operation while serving on a federal task force. Now, the parent organization they're talking about that mandates this is the Justice Department. This is a story back from 2021, 4 years ago. Justice Department announces first federal agents to use body-worn cameras. Look who they say it is. Today, the Department of Justice announced the launch of the first phase of its body-worn camera program that requires department law enforcement personnel use body-worn cameras during pre-planned law enforcement operations. Agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and Detroit Field Division began using BWCs today. So they began implementing this program in 2021. Apparently they felt they didn't have enough money, or at least they didn't have enough for the assassin in the Brian Malinowski case to have any, and makes them need to ask for $37.5 million more per year of additional body-worn cameras. So if we get a little bit deeper into the budget, you'll see down here that the program increase that they're looking for is they want to hire 70 additional employees, and they want to add total, including the payroll dollars, and you'll see also that we have some facilities involved in here also, some IT charges, and of course the body cameras themselves. They need, according to them, almost $38 million more for these new body cams. Now notice down here they say the funding will allow the ATF to build the Digital Evidence Management Branch to support the body-worn cameras program through training, hardware management, blah, blah, blah. This is essentially the IT portion of housing all of the video, and obviously this is going to be for evidence reasons and lawsuits, which they can probably expect a lot of those. So they're looking at an entire data management side of this also, not just the payroll dollars and not just the hardware of the actual camera itself. Now, regarding the payroll dollars, they're saying they need a contract officer representative, a headquarter position to research and disseminate. For legal reasons, they need one adult liaison to manage and coordinate all audits. I probably need more than that. One headquarter position to assist in creation and implementation of curriculum. 6 Office of Science and Technology positions to plan and carry out security measures. 2 positions to assist in focused intelligence through collect, blah, 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 blah. They go on to try to justify the FTEs, the full-time employees that they're actually going to need. Here's the chart that breaks down their costs for them. This column right here, you're going to notice, is the 70 employees, some of what we just described in their detail. Now, if you look this middle line, this middle row right here where it says increases, that's what they're asking for in this budget. So they're going to have a total of 76 people, but they're asking for 70 right now, which again brings their budget request to $37.8 million that they need for body-worn cameras. So I sat there and wondered, I'm thinking, believe it or not, the exercises that the DOGE guys and Elon are going through, it generates some thought. It makes you think, man, you don't always look at the federal government. They waste stuff, right? But you don't always look at them as even making the attempt to run efficiently, because they're not going to. They're the federal government, and they're known for waste. They can't sell a hamburger for under $20 without losing money. They're idiots, and we know that. They've never been known for being frugal or good with their money. But I sat back putting myself into that DOGE frame of mind. Like, out of all the millions of employees that we have in the federal government, and even if you want to break it down to different branches, at the executive level, the presidential pieces that fall under the president, and the billions of dollars that are already spent, no one else is doing any of this stuff. Well, guess what? I looked at, knowing that the Department of Justice is where all these people are falling under, I figured, who are the most likely people that might have some overlap or some redundancy in these job responsibilities? The FBI, right? Went and looked at the Federal Bureau of Investigation's policy on body-worn cameras. And as you can see, As of July 16, 2022, they have a policy of wearing body-worn cameras, and they currently utilize them. So I went to the president's budget to see if I could find something on the Department of Justice if there was some redundancy, at least in spending and payroll dollars in terms of body-worn cameras. So when I went and looked in detail at the DOJ's own budget, it actually has in there, including $2 billion for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms. So the FBI has body-worn cameras. They have their own program. They pay for it. So they're housing their own data. They already have servers that hold all of this data for whatever reasons, again, legal reasons or whatever. So we know that we have identified, at least for now, redundancy in server usage. So we've got all these servers, all this additional money that the ATF says they need to manage this within the literally same organization, Department of Justice. Their same boss's boss has responsibility over all these budgets below them. So money's already going out to put body cam video on servers and to categorize it, right? So that's already happening. So we have a redundancy already in equipment, servers, computers, and personnel, and facilities, the places where they're housed. Unless they're doing that from home too. God forbid they're putting body-worn camera footage from the FBI on servers at somebody's house, but we've seen how the federal government works. Let's assume for a moment that this is housed on a server at a U.S. facility and not somebody's home or apartment or trailer. So we've got those three levels of redundancy. We've got the technology already being used, we've got the facilities, and we've got the personnel already doing it. So we've got a lot of overlap right there. So I don't see why the ATF needs their own special kind, because if you have people in the IT business, and a lot of you out there are in the IT business, I thank you, because a lot of you correct me on incorrect things that I say from an IT standpoint. I just have a dangerous level of knowledge of IT, not a good working knowledge of IT, especially the more current technologies. But correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't it be just as easy to add to your server space and create, like, I don't know, maybe you partition a hard drive, and I'm simplifying it, but maybe you create a different set of servers that's tied to that same server bank, and that's where the ATF dumps all their body-worn camera footage? Instead of reinventing the wheel, why not add to the wheel you already have? I don't understand having to recreate all that. But the story gets better. I did some digging, and look what I found. Fiscal year 2024 body-worn camera policy and implementation program to support law enforcement agencies. Look at the department it came from. Bureau of Justice Assistance. That's interesting. That's not a department that I think I've never heard of them. I don't know that I've ever heard of the Bureau of Justice Assistance. But it's there, and I found it. All of it is underneath all of our friends over here. If you go to, this is DOGE's website right here where it has all the departments broken down. If you go over here and look at the, let's see, let me get this right. At the Attorney General, start with the Department of Justice, click on Attorney General, click on Deputy Attorney General, click on Office of Justice System. Again, all of this is under the DOJ. You're going to find Bureau of Justice Assistance. Again, guys, all of this falls under the Department of Justice. So going back to this grant program, I want you to see what we've got going on here. Keep the number 30, let's just round it up. Keep the number 38 million in the back of your mind, because that's what the ATF is looking for the body-worn units, the technology, and the personnel to run this new division of the ATF, right? 38 million, remember that. If I look at this grant program, look at what we have here. Funding cap for categories 1 and 2. For agencies initiating, piloting, or expanding body-worn camera programs, federal funding is capped at $2,000 per body-worn camera with an absolute cap of $2 million per award. So per agency, they are willing to divvy up $2 million, capping it at that for whoever applies. Look down at the bottom left-hand corner. I've added this also from the same publication. Category 1, site-based awards to law enforcement agencies, including self-initiated partnership application, $40 awards. What's $2 million times 40? Would you say that's $80 million? So the Department of Justice is asking for $38 million for body-worn cameras for the ATF, but they're giving away $80 million for body-worn cameras. Elon, buddy, if you're out there, if you're listening, any of you whiz kids, do you hear what I'm saying? The same department asking for money is giving away twice as much for the same thing they're asking for. How come, like any normal household would be, if we're dealing with budgets and not trying to go broke and lose our house and lose everything, any normal household, any normal business would say, hey, you know what? Instead of us giving away 80 million and then asking for 40, why don't we give 40 away and keep 40? That way we don't have to ask the American people for $40 million more in their hard-earned tax money. Do you see the level of silliness and waste that our federal government goes through? Why would somebody not just see this? Why would the DOJ, which we know why we didn't get any. Remember, our boy Merrick Garland was over all this, clueless, so no wonder he didn't find this. But wouldn't any responsible person who has a remedial level of math skills realize, why am I trying to borrow 40 million and I'm giving away 80? It just doesn't make sense. But federal government, I'm not asking you to make sense of it. I'm just telling you, this is the kind of idiocy that we see. It's so stupid. I like the fact that Elon and his guys are asking for information, because I'm going to try to send this to them. I mean, to me, this is very obvious. This can't be the only department that is giving out more money that they're even asking for. So start keeping some of your money and pay off your own bills. How about that? Let's try to do that. Quick little deviation from that story, but related to it. You know what else I found associated with this $80 million grant program for body-worn cameras? Check this out. On policegrantshelp.com, they talk about this exact same grant program, body cameras. There's a whole page of acceptable items that you can use this grant money for. How cool is that? How cool is that for a politician to approve this money? Pick up your phone, call your brother-in-law who sells holsters or body cams or plate carriers that hold body cams. Hey, Gary. Hey, man, just wanted to let you know, man, just approved $80 million worth of body-worn cameras. So, hey, that little V700 body camera that you guys sell, why don't you mark it up about 200%, and I'll put it on here as one of the recommended cameras, and yeah, you'll be good. In fact, I'll put it first. I'll make sure that it's on there first. The V700 body camera is the first one we're going to recommend, so mark that baby up 200%. Oh, and if you don't mind, give Big Daddy over here a kickback of 100% of that. You keep 100 of that markup, and we're going to be good. It's going to be fun at Thanksgiving time this year, Gary. Thank you. Tell my sister I said hey. That's what you got. You are encouraging corruption whenever you go in and improve the actual items that you're giving grant awards for. All you're doing is encouraging this. That's our federal government. That's how they work. In closing, guys, I'm going to ask you a favor. A big favor. If you don't mind, please take this video. Everything I have is either sourced from the DOGE website or from the government's own websites. It's their websites. I can provide links if you like them, but it's all .govs. All of it, except for the police site. That's obviously an external site that's working to help you get grants and all that. But nevertheless, all the rest of them, as far as the proof and the data and everything that I pulled out, all government sites. Please share this with the DOGE team, with Elon. Tag him if you don't mind. Tag the video. If Facebook, X, wherever. If you got to take a screenshot of some of the stuff that I showed here, please take a screenshot. Share it on Instagram, whatever. I want you to let Elon know, help me get through to him that this is happening. Because I'll tell you another step. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but I do own my own business. I would be willing, because I love stuff like this. I love digging. I love finding corruption, waste, overspending. Let's see. What are they charging? What's a average guy make with the Department of Justice? Give me one of them higher paid jobs, and I'll work for them for 1 year. 1 year for a decent salary. $100,000. Throw that at me. But the salary is not really what I want. So let's not get hung up on the salary. You know what I want? I want what the guys in Congress get. I'm not going to say insider trading, because I think that's something they're not going to offer me. How about their benefits package? Wouldn't you like that? I'd love to have a benefits package of the members of Congress. Lifetime benefits, beautiful thing. And I don't have to get the old crappy insurance that y'all get, that the federal government lets us have through the little Obamacare. Members of Congress don't have to work for that. They get much better stuff because they know it sucks that they're what they're giving to the people. So I would love to offer my time. Again, the payroll is not as important as the benefit package. And I'll go in there for a year and help these guys dig out all this crap. Give me the ATF. Let me work on the ATF. That's all I ask for. Let me go in there. Hey, tag Cash and tag Bongino. Let them know I'm willing to go in there. You give me the numbers on the ATF. I will find waste, fraud, and corruption. It won't take a year. God, I hope I don't become a federal employee and it takes me a year to find a month's worth of stuff. But giving myself the benefit of the doubt of knowing that I've never been in their system before. Hey, maybe get one of Elon's whiz kids to give me a refresher course on their database and how to access stuff and give me the account of the ATF. I'm going to work real hard for you. I'm serious about this. I'm dead serious. I'm joking about it, but I'm serious. One, I would love to be able to do more work and help find more of this waste and fraud and stupid spending and overlap and redundancy in these organizations and these different places. Again, love to work on the ATF more specifically. But I would actually work for the federal government, knowing that I was doing something. It's going to sound selfish. It's eventually going to help my family out. If I can minimize the amount of waste, fraud, and corruption out there, eventually my family and you guys will all benefit from it.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so